Hello aspirants, welcome to Analog IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about UPSC Prelims 2024 Indian Economy Questions Explanation. Myself Mohan Benarji, Indian Economy faculty from Analog IAS. If you see the question trend of UPSC, it is a easy to moderate level. Most of the questions are appeared from our notes and the material which is given to the students. Let us start the discussion about the questions which appeared in the exam. As part of it, the first question include, consider the following statements. The first statement says that in India, NBFCs can access the liquidity adjustment facility window of RBI. So, as part of this statement, RBI has been given certain function as part of RBI Act 1934. Under this act, there is one of the provision which is included is liquidity adjustment facility. In this liquidity adjustment facility, there are two options which are considered to be called as repo rate and as well as reverse repo rate, in which the banks are being given certain options to take the loans from the RBI. In this statement, they are mentioning it as non-banking financial companies, so which is wrong. These NBFCs will take loans from the banks, not from the RBI under the facility of liquidity adjustment facility. So that's why this statement itself is a wrong statement. Second statement says that in India, foreign institutional investors can hold the government securities. So what are these government securities means? It includes treasury bills and as well as the government bonds. Treasury bills are short term and government bonds are for long term. Whenever government needs certain funds or money, it is raised through government securities. So RBI is the organization which will issue these government securities to the investors on behalf of government. So these government securities are given an option to the foreign institutional investors to invest in India. So that's why second statement is correct statement. Third statement says that in India, the stock exchanges can offer separate trading platform for debts. So here the debts means we can include the corporate debts as well as the government securities. For all these debts, the separate platforms are created by National Stock Exchange and as well as the Bombay Stock Exchange recently, so that the investors can increase and they can invest separately on these debt related instruments. So that's why this statement is correct. So the answer should be 2 and 3 only. Option D is the correct statement for the first question. Second question, with reference to the Indian economy, the collateral borrowing and lending obligations are instruments of. So you know that in the financial markets, there are two types of markets called as capital markets and as well as money markets. So these capital markets are related to the stock market kind of thing, and money market are the options which are given to the companies and as well as banks and as well as financial institutions to raise money. So this collateral borrowing means considered to be any type of corporate debt for the company and as well as various other sources which are being followed by the companies to raise the money. So all these are related to the money market. So here in this money market, there are various options given to the companies and as well as banks, like corporate debts or certificate of deposits, so bill of exchange. So these are considered to be part of this money market and they are considered to be called as collateral borrowing and lending obligations. So these are all belonging to the money market. The answer is C. So next question, consider the following statements: exchange trade funds motor vehicles, so currency swap. Okay. So, which of the above are considered as financial instruments? So, here in the financial markets, there are certain financial instruments in which two people are being involved. So, one is considered to be the investor and another person is the person who is taking certain loans. They are considered to be usually any companies or the startups who are in need of money. So, these two people, investors and the people who are in need of money, will be meeting at a place called as financial markets. In that financial markets, there are certain options given to those people are considered to be called as financial instruments. So, these financial instruments can be of various types. So, example for financial instrument is, for example, equity, in which the two people can exchange the shares. For example, equity means in the stock market a company is having certain shares that can be brought and sell by the investor and as well as the seller. Okay. So, that is considered to be one type of financial instruments which is considered to be called as equity instruments. So, in this only we get mutual funds, okay, and as well as exchange trade funds which are created by some of the organizations in which a new type of instrument people can invest. So, that is a part of equity instruments which is considered to be one type of financial instruments. At the same time, there are debt instruments are also there, one type of financial instruments which includes bonds as well as loans and as well as mortgages. Okay. And derivative instruments are there. So, debt instrument is one and derivative instrument is another one which includes the futures and options. So, these are all considered to be different types of financial instruments part of the financial markets globally. So, here if you consider exchange trade funds is correct statement which is considered to be a financial instrument, and as well as currency swap. So, where does this currency swap is a part of this financial instrument means? So, here there are foreign exchange instruments are also been part of it, financial instruments. So, in that currency swaps are being followed by two countries. When country 1 and country 2 are doing certain trade, they can swap their currency based on the exchange traded value. So, that is part considered to be currency swap, which is also one type of financial instruments. And here there is this motor vehicles is considered to be the wrong statement because it is not a financial instrument which is as we have discussed in different types. So, that is why answer should be 1 and 3 and the answer D is the correct answer. So, next question is in India which of the following can trade in corporate bonds, government securities. So, here as I said in the financial markets, who are the people can participate. For example, if you consider any company's share, company means you can take Reliance as a company. For example, Reliance is issuing certain share, who can buy this share, and as well as if government is releasing, okay, releasing certain bonds, okay. So, government bonds are released, who are all the people can buy these bonds and sell these bonds is there are various list of entities are being created by the government, and RBI is controlling these government bonds, and as well as SEBI is controlling certain corporate bonds or a certain share market. For example, here which are all the people who can trade in these corporate bonds and government securities is, so insurance companies, pension fund companies, retail investors means the people who are investing in that government bonds or the corporate bonds. And apart from them, so apart from these three entities, there are list of people who are participating are considered to be NBFCs, non-banking finance companies can participate in these financial markets, and as well as banks can participate in the financial markets, and mutual fund organizations can participate in the financial markets. So, these are the some of the people who can participate in this the financial markets, particularly in the money market. So, that is why here the answer should be D. 1, 2, 3 statements are correct statements. So, next question, with reference to the sectors of Indian economy, consider the following pairs they have given. So, here how many pairs are correctly matched, that is the question which is given. So in any of the economy there are three types of sectors are there. One is primary sector, secondary sector and as well as tertiary sector. So primary sector means which is emerged or evolved from the natural resources. Okay. So like agriculture, crops, minerals are part of this primary resources. And as well as secondary resources means anything, any goods which are manufactured through industries are considered to be part of this secondary sector. Tertiary sector means any type of services which are rendered between two entities are considered to be part of tertiary sector. So based on these definitions, if you correlate to the pairs, storage of agriculture produce is considered to be part of tertiary sector, not the secondary sector. So because here storage means the storage of food grains, the godowns construction is considered to be part of tertiary sector, not the secondary sector. And dairy farm comes under the primary sector, which is related to the agriculture. So that's why it is considered to be part of primary sector. And mineral exploration is considered to be part of primary sector, not the tertiary sector. So weaving cloth is considered to be part of industry, so that's why it is considered to be secondary sector. On the whole, two pairs are correctly matched. Option B is the correct statement. Okay. So next question, with reference to the physical capital in Indian economy, consider the following pairs. So in this question also they have given certain pairs, they are asking to correctly matched pairs. So first one, here the physical capital is considered to be a money which is invested by an investor in the company to run the organization or the company. So it can be of various types. One of them is considered to be called as a working capital and another one is considered to be called as a fixed capital. So working capital is one type of investment in which the corresponding investor try to use the money for the running of the company, or expenditure is done on the company for the salary payment or wage payment or material supplies. So these are all considered to be part of this working capital. And fixed capital means any type of expenditure which is creating an assets we can consider as a fixed capital to run the company. So here as part of that basic understanding of working capital, so we can consider as running capital and as well as fixed capital. Try to address the question. Farm plough is considered to be an asset, so here it is considered to be part of fixed capital, it is not the working capital. And the computer is considered to be fixed capital, this statement is correct. And yarn used by the weaver, this is a raw material, so which is considered to be part of working capital. Any type of raw material is considered to be part of supplies for the company, so that's why this is considered to be part of working capital. On the whole, two statements or two pairs are correct. Option B is the correct answer. So next question, with reference to the rules imposed by the RBI while treating foreign banks, consider the following statements. First statement says that there is no minimum capital requirement for wholly owned banking subsidiaries in India. So here recently RBI has passed certain laws or the rules which is related to the foreign banks, So according to it, so if any of the subsidiaries of the foreign banks are established in India, then they have to maintain minimum capital requirement. So this minimum capital requirement is almost 500 crores. Okay, and at the same time the company which is established as a subsidiary should at least maintain not less than 50% of the board of members should be Indian nationals or NRIs or person of Indian origin. So that's why this statement is wrong and this statement is correct. So answer should be B, only 2 is the correct answer. So next question, consider the following statements. Statement 1 says that India does not import apples from the United States of America. So this first statement itself is wrong, because India is importing the apples from America, and recently if you see last 3 months it has increased 40 times due to reduction in the certain taxes or the duties by the Indian government. So this statement is wrong. And the second statement says that the law prohibits import of genetically modified food without approval of competent authority. So here government has passed an act which is considered to be called as Food Safety Standards Act in 2006. So in 2006 it has passed. Under this act there is a one organization which it has created is FSSAI. Okay. So Food Safety and Security Authority of India. So this organization has been given power authority to give permission for the any type of genetically modified crops import, export or any type of cultivation in India. So this statement is correct. So the answer should be D. Statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct. So next question, consider the following statements. So statement 1 says that recently Venezuela has achieved rapid recovery from its economic crisis and succeeded in preventing its people from fleeing, immigrating to other countries. So this statement itself is wrong because Venezuela is one of the country which is dependent on oil reserves. Okay. So oil reserves are the main source for the country's economy. So these oil resources will generate or contribute 70% of their economy. So during COVID-19, so what has happened is the total economy has been declined and it is facing economic crisis and it was continued even now. So in the statements they said that they are been rapidly recovering. This statement is itself is wrong. And the second statement says that Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. So according to the statistics of OECD, so Venezuela has almost 17.8% of the global oil reserves. So that's why this statement is correct. So the answer should be first statement is incorrect and second statement is correct. Option D is the correct answer. So next question. Consider the following statements. The statement 1 says that if United States of America set to default on its debt, the holders of US Treasury bonds will not be able to exercise their claim to receive payments. So most of the countries in the global world, they are facing economic crisis because of various reasons like the inflation or the increase in the debt level of the country or the any other factors related to the global wars between Russia and Ukraine and other factors. So recently also USA is, which is considered to be the largest economy in the world, is facing the debt crisis and it is yet to default if at all it is not increasing the debt limit. So consider the US debt has been increased to almost more than $30 trillion. If it is not increasing the debt limit, it may face the economic crisis. So whenever there is a requirement of money for any of the countries, they release certain bonds so that they can generate the money and they can use it for the development of the country. So US also released bonds and accordingly it has generated the money. There are some people who invested in the bonds of the US government and accordingly they are expecting the good results and good returns from that bonds. So in the recent past what has happened, if the debt ceiling of the US is been not increasing, so what is the position of investor is a question mark in the recent past. So according to the analysts from various organizations like JP Morgan and other global organizations are saying that these investors or the bond holders in the US Treasury bonds definitely will face a problem, but they don't have any type of process to address their issues, or they are not having any proper law mechanism to address their issues. So that's why this statement is correct. And at the same time most of the people are investing in the government bonds. Why? Because it is the trust which has created in the US economy, and at the same time in USA most of the government bonds are not backed by any of the assets like gold. So it is on the trust and as well as faith on the government, most of the people are been investing. So that's why the second statement is also correct statement. And option A is the most probable answer for this question. So because statement 1, in which most of the people are investing in the government bonds of USA because they are having faith in the government. So that's why option A is the most probable answer for this question. So next question, consider the following statements. Syndicate lending spreads risk of borrowers default across multiple lenders. So that is the first statement given. So what is considered to be called as syndicate lending? So here it is considered to be a loan which is given to the many of the companies or larger companies, or it is given to the larger projects, or sometimes it is given to the government. So who will give the loan means a group of banks or the lenders. So there are many of the banks which will give certain loans to the borrowers. So those type of loans are considered to be called as syndicate lending. So these banks will form a group of organization which we consider to be called as syndicate, and the loan which is given by them is considered to be called as syndicate lending. So these loans are given in two types. So one is these loans are given in two types. One is fixed lending or fixed amount is given as a loan, and as well as the credit line. Okay, so credit line and fixed amount or lump sum amount is given as a loan. So credit line is you will withdraw the money in a phased manner whenever it is required, and fixed amount means total amount is given to the company at a time. So in this context, so first statement says that syndicate lending spreads risk of borrowers default across multiple lenders. For example, if this company is being defaulted, then the risk has to be paid by most of the group of banks. So the level of total impact on the bank will be limited. So that's why first statement is correct. And at the same time, syndicate loan can be a fixed amount, lump sum amount of funds, but cannot be a credit line. So this cannot is not correct. So that's why this statement is wrong. So statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is wrong. So that means option C is the correct answer. So that is the point you need to remember. Okay. So option C is the correct answer. So next question, consider the following statements with respect to digital rupee. So RBI has recently launched the digital rupee. Okay. So based on that, they have given 4 statements. The sovereign currency issued by RBI in aligned with the monetary policy. So RBI has one of the function is to target inflation. So the objective of targeting inflation is satisfied or done by the RBI with the help of monetary policy, because it has many policy rates in which it controls, and accordingly it will try to control the inflation. That is the main function of RBI according to the various committees appointed by the government. So here whatever the currency issued by the RBI, that is a digital currency issued by the RBI, definitely it is aligned with the monetary policy so that it can achieve its objectives. So that is the correct statement. And next, it appears that digital rupee is considered to be a liability on the RBI balance sheet. So RBI every year releases the balance sheet. So whatever the money which is printed or released in the form of digital currency or a fiat currency, then everything money is included in the liability of RBI balance sheet. This statement is also correct statement. And third statement says that insured against the inflation by very design. That means this digital rupee is securing the inflation or reducing the inflation. So which is not correct statement. So we cannot say that digital rupee all the time will control the inflation or regulate the inflation. So even it can impact if at all it is released excessively into the economy. So that's why third statement is correct, incorrect statement or wrong statement. Next, fourth statement is it is freely convertible against the commercial bank money and cash. So that means if you are having a digital currency, you can exchange that currency with the other currency notes. You don't require any type of bank accounts. So that's why fourth statement is correct statement. The answer should be D. 1, 2 and 4 are correct statements. So next question, consider the following statements. India is a member of International Grain Council. That is the first statement. So what is considered to be called as a International Grain Council? So International Grain Council is considered to be intergovernmental organization. So intergovernmental organization which is used to promote cooperation among the global grain trade. So which is promoting cooperation among global grain trade. So that is the one of the objective. So grain trade is controlled with the help of this organization. And another objective is market stability among the food grains. So market stability is another objective of International Grain Council, and at the same time the another objective of International Grain Council is achieving food security is also considered to be one of the objective. So based on this, if you see the how this International Grain Council is getting membership or how to join as a member is every country has to sign so one International Grain Trade Convention, International Grain Trade Convention. So Grain Trade Convention is considered to be international convention. If you sign that convention, you can be part of the International Grain Council. So in this there are almost 11 producing countries are there, and as well as 18 importing countries are there. Okay. So among these countries, producing countries, India is also part of it. So that's why first statement is the correct statement. And a country need to join as a member of the International Grain Council. It should import rice and wheat. This statement is wrong, because if a country is signing the Grain Trade Council, then only it can be part of International Grain Council. So that's why second statement is wrong. So the answer should be A, only one. Okay. So with this we have completed the explanation part of Indian economy questions appeared in the UPSC Prelims 2024. Hopefully this explanation gives you the ample idea about the way of questioning of UPSC, and as well as the approach a student has to develop and accordingly they can answer in the examination. So thank you very much for all the people who have attended the class. So wish you all the best. Thank you.